it's Sandra. I'm on my phone. Oh my goodness me. Yes, I just phone chatted with the guy that I was meant to see today. His voice is so dreamy. Oh my God. I think he likes me more than a friend as well. I mean, seriously, he likes British accents and I like foreign accents. Pray he falls madly, passionate in love with me and decides to stay over here. Pray for that for me. Sorry, that's the way I feel. I'm like, oh my God, his voice is to die for. Hi, Michael. This is like the second live stream I'm doing, like today already. Like, I didn't go to sleep, so I worked throughout the night. Oh, sorry for anyone who's just tuned into this channel. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, and I share my own asexual journey in order to help yours. You in yours. Sorry, I'm really excited, as you can tell. You in yours. Sorry, I'm really excited, as you can tell. So basically, I was supposed to be going out with the guy I met last Friday. I was supposed to be going out with him tonight, but he's got exams tomorrow and Thursday. So we literally were just on the phone with each other. And oh my goodness me, like chemistry is like quite high. I'm like, geez, on the phone. And I said to him that he has a nice voice. He said, oh, you have a lovely voice. And I said, I remember you said that to me when we met. He goes, yeah, I love British accents. And I'm like, I love foreign accents. I'm like, oh, pray he falls madly passionate in love with me and wants to stay in this country. I was like, do you know what I mean? He's like, I just get on so well with him straight away. I can tell, like, and he's rearranged to see me this Friday. So it's like he can't wait because I said we could postpone till next week. And I said, oh, it might be better if we phoned each other. But I worked through the night last night, so I didn't go to sleep till 10 this morning. So like I didn't wake up till gone 1 o'clock. And then I checked my phone message and I had a missed call from him. And then he just phoned me. Yeah, and oh my God, it was bliss. Yeah, so I put in my last video about being friend zoned, but to be honest, I think there's a lot of chemistry there. Like, obviously, I'm asexual. It's not sexual chemistry, but I think there's romance chemistry going on there. I would definitely say that. Do you know what I mean? But especially when I found it, if you like British accents, I'm like, oh my goodness me. You know, I mean, I know he's over in this country, but it's a shame he's only over here for 6 months. Just hope that he falls in love with me in 6 months, and he's a good guy. I know he's a grinny. I get on really well with him. I can tell straight away. I'm like, oh my God, we have this conversation. And like, he says my name, Sandra, and I get asexually turned on by a guy who says my name in a foreign accent. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to snog him. So, because I love it when they say my name, they go, Sandra, Sandra. And it's so asexy. Seriously, like, you know, like loads of people find who are sexual find body bits appealing. They find, like, you know, well, they basically want sex. I don't, but I do get very asexually turned on by someone saying my name in a foreign accent. I'm like, oh my God. It just makes me go wild. Like, I really want to like be romantic and kiss him, and oh my God. So yeah, like, it really how can I put it? It's asexually turning on for me. Like, I know some people who are not romantic probably won't get that, but yeah, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, and he wants to see me this Friday, so we're meeting up at 8:30 on Friday. I'm eating at home before I go out, and I said to him that I haven't got much money at the moment because obviously I'm like not working an employed job. He's like, oh, don't worry, I have money, I can pay for you. Like, I don't expect a guy to pay for me. I'm not that type of girl. You have to understand that. I'm not out to get any guy's money. I've never been like that. But he's like, oh, you can teach me some English, because he does want me to teach him English anyway. He said that he wants me to help him out, so I suppose I'm going to be helping out. I guess it's a bit like paying me to be a teacher. But yeah, so he said, oh yeah, we can meet, have a drink, then go clubbing later, go where we want, do what we want. He said the weekends are better for me. So that's the only thing, you know, where, you know, when you talk to someone and then you say, oh, when's good for you? And they're like, oh, well, anytime's good for me. I'm free anytime. But he, to be fair to him, he didn't know he's like, got exams. He said he hasn't really studied for them. He's got exams and he didn't know it. But he said he's really looking forward to seeing me, and he's waiting for Friday, which means he's really, really interested in me. So obviously he pretty much, I would say he definitely fancies me, not just likes me as a friend. I really would. But why, when a guy says, "Oh, I can't wait," like I'm waiting for Friday to see you. I mean, obviously there's a language barrier there because he said his English isn't very good. But I mean, like the fact he likes British accent is a bonus point because it does mean that he probably likes British girls. He probably wants a British girlfriend, I'm guessing. But yeah, he goes back to his country in 6 months. So I've got to remember that and not get hurt. But the thing is, I probably will get hurt if I'm not careful anyway. But, I just got to try and live for the moment, try and live for now and stop worrying about the future. So, you know what I mean? I just think, well, I might end up with a temporary person that I'm dating for 6 months or something. Yeah, but his voice is to die for. Seriously, you don't understand how much I like foreign accents, especially when they say my name. And I told him I like my name being said, and he kept repeating it. I'm like, oh my God. And I could tell he didn't really want to get off the phone with me. It was a kind of a case where we've got to go because we've got to get on with other things, but I really want to carry on talking to you type voice. It was sort of like, yeah, should we really end the conversation? Because we don't want to, but it's really nice. It's really, really lovely. And I like foreign guys. He's Iranian, he's not Indian, but I still like him loads. Do you know what I mean? I still want to, I still believe my actual person I'm meant to be was foreign and younger than me. I don't know how old he is though. He looks older than I would normally go for. So I don't know how old he is. He looks about 33, but I'm guessing he's not. I'm guessing he's in his 20s, but he looks, yeah, he looks older than I usually go for. I don't know. He might be 27, 28 or something, but yeah. But yeah, his voice is so dreamy, and I thought I'll just quickly capture the moment when his voice is so dreamy because, asexuals, the asexuality is a huge spectrum, and if we're like a romantic asexual, even if we're not, I've got an aromantic friend, and he gets attracted to different things. So you can have so many different types of attractions. Like you can have aesthetic attraction. Like I get pretty much every attraction. I don't get sexual and I don't get platonic. So what I get is I basically get a close attraction. I get aesthetic attraction, romantic attraction, creative attraction, spiritual attraction, intelligence attraction, emotional attraction, accent attraction. Accent attraction is a huge one for me. It's like does something for me. It makes my body tingle. It's like, oh my God. Um I really need a foreign guy, seriously. Yeah, so it's like wow. Yeah. It's really magical when I talk to him. I can feel it as well. It's like really nice. So yeah. So it's going to be, I guess, an experience, like, because he loves dancing and going clubbing as well, which I love, and that's like, wow, I love all that. So it's going to be so wonderful for me to be able to go out with someone and do all that stuff, and him being foreign with a beautiful accent, and I get on well with him. So I think it's going to be amazing. But the trouble is, it's like, I was quite happy with the friend zone in a way, but then in another way, I like romance, and I think this guy is romantically attracted to me. I just do, but maybe he's like me. But then maybe he's asexual. I don't think he is though, because when I mentioned in the text that I won't be ever, when I meet up with you, I won't be ever wanting or intending to have sex with you ever. Like basically, he goes, oh, I said first of all, I said I don't like the act of sex in any way, shape, or form. Full stop. And then in the second part of the sentence I said that, so I'll never want or think about having sex with you. And he said, oh, I agree with that last part, which I think was not having, not wanting to have sex with you. I think that was the part he agreed with, not the part that he doesn't like the act, I think. So, but it's very interesting because most guys don't accept that so quickly. But I don't know if that's because he's going back to his country in 6 months, or if he doesn't believe in sex before marriage, or if he's just a nice guy who's very accepting of different cultures, and maybe he is attracted to me somewhat, but realizes that I'm just a good person and that he will just be friends with me in that way. Because a lot of the thing is that's the only difference. Is like, because I'm romantic asexual, like, I can feel romance already for him. I know that. And I think he feels that for me as well, to be honest. But it'll be really interesting to see how his body language is with me on Friday, to see whether it's in I fancy you, I'm attracted to you mode, or whether it's in I'm not that bothered, I'm a good friend of yours type mode. It'll be very interesting, but I believe that he fancies me, to be quite honest. I mean, that's the impression I got on last Friday. Yeah. So that he really fancies me romantically, probably. I didn't get a sexual vibe from him. But sometimes that can be a good thing. That can just mean that I personally am able to be around a sexual because they're not too over sexual with me. Do you see what I mean? And that's a really good thing because I need to be able to trust some sexuals, like otherwise I can't go out with any sexuals at all. And that's just a bit silly in a way because the majority of the population's sexual. I mean, I know obviously I've got one really good male sexual friend in London, but he acts more asexual than I do, even though he's not asexual. He doesn't talk about women at all. My friend in London, and he's not into guys as far as I know. He's never been into guys. He likes women as friends, but he acts more asexual than I do. I told him that once. So he's like, what? And he's not very romantic. So I'm guessing my friend in London's an aromantic heterosexual. I'm guessing, as at a guess. But yeah, so I'm quite excited about seeing him on Friday now. But I'm too excited because I've gone from thinking I was friend zoned to being comfortable with that in the sense that, yeah, I haven't got any scary feelings going on, to, well, actually, I really fancy the pants off him, aesthetically and accent wise, accent wise even more. Like, oh my God, I just get so chemistry over accents, like asexuals get attracted to different things. This is the thing, we don't get attracted to sort of normal everyday things in some ways. Like, well, we do in the sense of aesthetics, romance, but there are some far out things like, lots of people like foreign accents, but I would go as far as I say I'm hugely, hugely attracted by a foreign accent. But I think, some people just do love foreign accents. But, I can get close attraction, and you don't really get a heterosexual going, hey, I have close attraction with you. Do you know what I mean? It's not a term that heterosexuals would use. They don't think of stuff like that. That's why I love being asexual so much as well, because it's like being in a complete another world and another language, but in a good way. It's like we have the ability to love and experience attraction at a very core, deep, basic, fundamental, heart-filled level that is on multiple levels, if you know what I mean, which is just out of this world sensational. I really believe asexuality is actually the key to unlocking the whole sexuality sphere. It's like when you realize you're asexual and you get to know more and more about sexuality as a whole, it's like it's incredibly powerful. It's kind of like asexuality has been the missing link for years between all the different spectrum of sexuality, and I feel like we're the missing link that they've been looking for the whole time, or we're right under their noses and they don't pay enough attention to us. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I'm feeling really powerful now in what I'm saying. It's really weird. It's like I've had my boost of foreign Jews accent, and like now I'm just feeling on top of the world. You can tell what it does to me. Look at my voice. It's elevated. Like this is like attraction at its highest level, but in a I don't want sex with you way, but I fancy the pants off you way. This is how you can tell. See, life is all about energy, and like you can tell with me at the moment, I can feel like my energy is like gone really high because this guy's accent is beautiful. The way he speaks to me is beautiful. He is beautiful. I know he's really looking forward to seeing me. I know he's looking forward to hanging out with me, dancing with me, drinking with me, spending time with me. And it's just like my whole being feels like an elevation. It's really hard. Like, I think people who experience sexual attraction experience these type of feelings, but for them, they experience the sexual attraction. Whereas for me, it's like an elevated state of bliss in my body. And I do get tingling and all that type of thing. but that's just from talking to him and having that accent. Do you see what I mean? It does weird things to my body. Like, I know this is not probably normal for asexual, don't get me wrong. Aromantics probably don't experience this, and even a lot of probably asexual heteromantics or romantics in general probably don't get this. That's why I always say I've got grey areas. Do you know what I mean? Because I do experience high levels of arousal and stuff like that. It's really weird. But I don't experience zero sexual, I experience zero sexual attraction, diddly squat, nothing. I have no urge, need, or want for sex anytime I see the guy. And I didn't understand this. Like, I find even myself, it's puzzling. It's like, how can I feel all these feelings in my body, but there's no sexual attraction there? But it's completely true. It's like I'm in an elevated state of a bliss and maybe like a state of arousal from the accent. It's really weird. Like, I know that's a very personal thing to say. I feel like I'm sharing like an intimate personal moment here with you guys, like on camera, which is a bit odd. But it's like I feel like really kind of aroused that my only frame of reference is when I talked on a topic I'm interested in. Yes, Michael, this is so important. This is absolutely true. Aromantics, because I've got other aromantic friends, right? You guys can feel this level of type of energy through other things. Like you said, when you're talking about a favourite topic, that can be how it makes you feel. I get it with website design as well. If a guy's talking about website design, it can turn me on asexually. Like, I can get aroused and stuff as well in my body. This is like really intimate stuff I'm talking to you about now. I don't usually tell you on this channel about like how I feel aroused when I feel aroused. You know what I mean? I don't go into this type of thing. But I kind of think it's good to do a spontaneous video and tell you how I'm feeling so that you kind of understand this is arousal type of feeling, but I'm not sexually attracted to him or anyone, because it's really, really hard concept to grasp the difference between arousal and sexual attraction. I didn't understand, even when I started my asexual journey, yeah, I kind of thought they were the same thing. If I'm honest, I didn't realise they were separate. That's why I thought I was heterosexual for years. I thought my arousal stuff was sexual attraction. But the fact that I never thought I wanted sex in my head should have been a giveaway that I wasn't experiencing sexual attraction, but I didn't. I thought I was a heterosexual who didn't like sex. That's what I thought for years. But I didn't realise I was asexual. And then when I know there are heterosexuals that, are sex repulsed, but I wasn't a sex repulsed asexual. Well, I'm not a sex. I wasn't a sex repulsed person back then. I wasn't liking it in the sense I don't really like sex in general. I don't need it or want it. But my ex was good about it, and I could actually do that with him. But then, because I know I've got options now, as in I don't have to have it, as in I can have love without sex. It's kind of like, oh, I don't need that now. So I don't have to have it, and I never wanted it in the first place, because I can think back in my mind and know that I never had it in my head that I want to have sex with my ex or any guy, but obviously the last long-term ex I was with, it was 8.5 years. That's a long time to be with someone. I was attracted to him in multiple other ways, too much. So that's why I stayed with him. I stayed with him because I was in love with him. And because I thought he'd changed back to the nice person I thought he was in the beginning. And he was good at sex. And I didn't think that I would meet anyone else that could go without sex for 2 or 3 months like me and him did. You see, that's like, we didn't do it for 2 or 3 months. And I thought, God, I am never, ever going to find a guy like that in my life. And that's why I stayed with him, and it wasn't good. So, I just wanted to I've gone on a tangent, as I usually do. But yeah, Michael, this is really important that you explain this. It's exactly will help the viewers loads. Sorry, I need to grab water quickly. I've got what mug have I got today? Oh, Olaf. So I've only had about 3 hours sleep, just over. So I'm a bit croaky on my throat. So yeah, I think it's so important that people understand that attraction is multifaceted. And it's on so many different levels, and you can experience attractions on completely random things. This is why people marry buildings and get in love with cars and stuff. Like, I don't have attraction for objects in that way, but some people do. because the attraction is just on so many different levels. And like you said, if you're having a conversation with someone, like that's very attractive. You can feel that state. That's kind of like a attraction. Like if people experience sexual attraction, it's like an elevated state of energy, but in their mind, it's not just their body, it's in their mind. They are drawn to them sexually, and it triggers sex processes off for them, like as in like sexual attraction processes of like I want sex, but I don't get that. I really don't. I just don't experience that at all. It is bizarre because I have to admit that when I started my asexual journey, like I said, I never ever understood the difference. I couldn't. So I understand why some asexuals, when they think, oh, well, someone who experiences arousal can't really be asexual. I do understand the mentality behind that. I understand it's illogical, because to me it's illogical. Do you know what I mean? Even though I experience it, it's illogical in the sense that it's kind of still sexual, if you understand what I mean. In my mind of my life, like there's certain, like when I've lived in the heterosexual life for years, it's kind of like arousal, sexual attraction, sexual desire. That's all clumped as sexual stuff, and sexuals do it. Do you know what I mean? It's not separated at all. But when you get into the realm of asexuality, you find out that sex drive, libido, arousal, sexual attraction, sexual desire, they're kind of all different things, but can all be intermingled. So arousal is when your body gets turned on, basically, and then that usually with asexuals is not aimed at anyone. So someone was discussing in private message, they were a bit like worried and stuff about the arousal stuff, and they were worried whether they didn't know whether they experienced sexual attraction or arousal. And some people do go from being completely asexual to demisexual. It's not always, but there are instances of it. So people get worried sometimes. They're like, am I experiencing arousal or sexual attraction? But obviously I can't dictate to someone definitely what they are, and then they can know it in and of themselves. But if someone is wanting in their mind to have sex, and the arousal feelings make them feel that way, then they want partner sexual intercourse, they crave that, they want it, they need it, and they want it with that person, then kind of like I would say they are well, if they're heterosexual, well, not heterosexual, because obviously they could be bisexual, pansexual, transsexual, but what I mean to say is that they are experiencing sexual attraction. But if they, there are instances where you can have sexual desire without the sexual attraction, so you could feel high level, you could want the sex itself. And I think there are a few asexuals that can even want the sex because they need the sex without the sexual attraction. But that's getting into a realm of very grey areas. Very, 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 very grey areas. I've known of one guy in a Facebook group that goes, I'm asexual, but I do want sex, but I don't think about it with anyone at all. Like, he desires the sex, and I find that very hard to get my head around as an asexual person who doesn't have... I have arousal, but to me that's completely different. Like, it is different to like sexual desire. Sexual desire is when you crave the sex. I never crave sex. I don't... Do you know what I mean? But I do crave the kissing, but the kissing makes me highly aroused, and then that's hard because my body responds as kind of probably most people's bodies would, or even more so than most people's body would, because mine's high levels. And that is weird, I couldn't even talk about this stuff. Like, if you met me like prior to 2014, before I started doing this stuff on this channel, right, I could not even talk about sex, not one iota, apart from make jokes in general about it. I didn't talk to my best friends about it. I didn't talk to my parents about it. Only person I talked to was when I had a boyfriend. That was it. No one else. Nothing. Nada. And I was really shy, and I didn't want to talk about intimate stuff at all, and I felt that's really personal. No one else should know that. It's just between me and my boyfriend. And even if I had any struggles or anything with sexual stuff, I couldn't really talk to anyone about it. like my sex education at primary school as well and secondary school, it was just like primary school was non-existent. Secondary school, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but basically my parents, like, they're very conservative. They don't talk to me about sex. Like, if I bring sex up now, like, I say some sex stuff, because I say, some stuff like, oh, like, oh, I don't like sex, mum, but I like kissing. Yeah, I still get, I may go into the realms of arousal and stuff like that. And my mum, she can't hack it. She gets all embarrassed. Like, if I'm on the phone with her, she'll completely clam up. She does are deathly silent. Anything I mention to do with sex, she can't handle. And my dad are heterosexuals. They said they are. They said, oh, it's a good job we're not like you, isn't it? And because I don't want kids. But they wanted kids and they're heterosexual. And they said, oh, it's a good job we're not like you, isn't it, Sandra? Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Like, so I know they're definitely not asexual. But it's like my parents are so conservative. They don't show public displays of affection at all. And I need that in a relationship. Like, I'm completely opposite to them in a lot of ways, And it's like, I can even speak about this prior to 2014. I couldn't like speak at all, and like when I talked to my mum and I mentioned some stuff to do with asexuality, and then I bring sex into equation about, oh, I don't want sex but I really like kissing and I need some physical stuff, and she's like, her whole voice goes dead. It's like, mum, are you still there, mum? Mum, are you still there? And she's like, oh, I'm listening. And she doesn't want to talk about it. So my sex education at school, right, was secondary school, right? I was in this biology class, right? And I had to watch this video. Oh my goodness me, it's like so lame. And this woman was dressed as an egg. And this bloke was dressed as a sperm. I couldn't remember it. Oh my god, this is my sex education, right? It's a good job I got to learn stuff myself. Otherwise, you can easily get pregnant if this is your only source of like inspiration for sex education, right? So this woman was dressed as the egg. This guy was dressed as a sperm, and the woman was swimming. Was it the woman or the bloke was swimming towards? I think it was the sperm swimming towards the egg, and it's going, one day my sperm will come. One day my sperm will come. And it's like really, really cheesy song. And yeah, it was a woman dressed as the egg singing that while this bloke in the sperm costume swam towards her. That was my sex education. It's like, what the F? How on earth can you expect anyone to not get pregnant for that information? To understand sexuality on a deep, meaningful level, to understand the range of sexualities, to understand sex itself. How can you expect anyone to get that? And my parents, my mum was like, oh, your school will teach you about sex. Because that's how she was. They're very conservative. My mum won't talk to me about sex. I mean, I don't have a full-on discussion. I don't sit down and say, let's talk about sex. I've never have done that because, I've always been shy around my parents like that. Like I said, I mean, even now I don't talk to them face to face about sex stuff, really. But when I'm with my mum and dad, like, I will say about some stuff I'm doing on my asexual channel. Not all of it. I don't tell them all the details. Like, I don't tell them all the stuff that I talk to about masturbation. I don't discuss that with my parents. And I don't talk to them about, like, I don't talk to them. Well, actually, probably I do say, like, I did tell my mum I got this guy on an asexual dating site who within a second lot of messages said, oh, in the second lot of messages said I don't want sex, and then later on in the same second lot of messages said, oh, how about slow sex? Like, you know what I mean? Like slow sex or something. And then he was all about using a flashlight. I said to Mum, what the hell are you talking about flashlight? She goes, I think it means so you can have sex in the dark. I'm like, what? Oh my god, because I'm really sweet and innocent in this way. Like, in terms of actual sex itself, there's tons of stuff I don't know. Like, I only found out this year, must have been a few months ago, that women strap on rubber penises to have sex with guys at the bum. I didn't know that. I mean, do you know how long? I mean, you don't know my birth certificate age, and I don't want to reveal it because I don't like talking about it. But I've lived on this planet for quite some time now, and you would have thought that in all my years on this planet, I would know about stuff like that. But I don't, because sex doesn't interest me. The only reason I take more of an interest in sex now is because I'm asexual and try and help other people with it, and I kind of need to know the different layers of it. And especially if I do date heterosexuals and I ever want to think about doing anything with them, I kind of like, not because I want to do it, but because I'm thinking, do I compromise and do masturbation on them, all that stuff? Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, also, I want to write a book. I think I mentioned it on here several videos ago, like a few weeks ago, that I want to write a book about sex basics, like, the how to have sex for beginners, for asexuals. Like, I've already started writing the book because there are asexuals that do want to try sex, and it can get very complicated. Like, you can see with the sex education I had, that's why I want to write the book as well, because it's so many, like, how are asexuals supposed to know and understand these things, I didn't know women did that, strap rubber penises on. I mean, to me, that personally is disgusting. I've never even thought about stuff like that in my life. I've never used sex toys, never used a vibrator. Like, I know people use sex toys and vibrator and talk about them, but I don't even really, I mean, I have been in a shop with them, but I mean, I don't understand really them because I don't like things in my body, full stop. The only thing I put in my body is my own fingers. Sorry to be so graphic, but I mean, I haven't put any foreign objects up me. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all really weird to me. Like, but since I found out I'm asexual, it's like, how far have I come in my personal development journey? Like, from not even being able to talk about sex whatsoever to like having conversations like you in the moment, live stream, I don't actually know many people that talk about sex live streaming either. You know what I mean? There probably are tons of sex channels that do it. This is an asexual channel, and I'm trying to educate people. I'm not saying it to be graphic for the sake of being graphic to pleasure people. I'm saying it to educate people. So because I know how hard it is all across the asexual spectrum to understand each other, and my mission is to get the get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation throughout the globe, so that no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. And the only way I'm going to do that is by bridging the gap between sexual and asexual, by creating a deeper understanding between our sexualities, so that we can form more understanding and really get to that deep foundation root of what the whole spectrum is of asexuality and sexuality as a whole. Oh, by the way, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're liking the stuff I'm sharing with you, because obviously it does help me out, and I need to know what type of videos you like, because I make these videos for you guys, and I make them to help you and to help anyone to understand themselves better. I mean, like, I think Michael raised a really good point earlier about the only time he gets like a heightened, elevated state is when he's talking about a subject he's really passionate about, and I think that's so true. I think asexuals can get really, intellectually stimulated as well. You can get sapio asexuals. I don't know why people just seem to think sapiosexual, for example, is when you get sexually attracted to someone through intelligence. So if someone's having an intelligent conversation or they're really intelligent, you can get sexual attraction towards them. But you can still be sapio asexual, where you get asexually turned on because you like the intelligence. So if a guy's talking to me about website design, I'm like so riveted. My body is elated, and I'm like, I really want to kiss you, because for me it leads to kissing. But if you're aromantic, you'd probably just want to say, you're a really interesting person. I want to hear more about you. I'm stimulated by your conversation. I'm intensely listening to you. So if you're aromantic, that might be how that energy's translated and feels for you. Like, it might be, like an intelligent, stimulating conversation where you're just riveted. You're just so like engrossed in the moment, listening to them, and you're feeling their passion because you're passionate about that subject. Like, say it's photography, and you're hearing for someone who likes photography, and you're listening to them, and they're talking about the different camera angles they're using, and they're talking about how they use black and white film as opposed to colour, and they're talking about the angles and the shots and the objects they take, or the people, and they're talking descriptively about how they look at things, how they do the camera work, and all that can be very asexually turning on. Even to someone who's aromantic, you might not get any physical sensation like arousal. You may just really feel riveted in that moment, and in that moment of your life, it's like, it's a precious moment between you and that person where you're just so engrossed intellectually in what they're saying. You're so fascinated and on the verge of ecstasy in that moment, just from talking about a particular subject you're passionate about. If it's photography, like I said, you might have this stunning sunset, right? And maybe they've done some Photoshop work even to it, and they put this black and white background on this stunning, like, beautiful orange sunset, and the orange sunset is beautifully lit up, and they've done like a monotone background where all the background's like like it's grey, and so the sunset shines out beautifully. And that could be turned, for a person who experiences arousal, they could get aroused by that sort of thing in an asexual way, because we don't experience sexual attraction, but that could be very arousing image, even the sunset. Or to a person who doesn't experience arousal, that could be, if they're romantic, that could be just highly romantic feelings for them. Or if they don't experience any romance, that could just be stunningly aesthetically beautiful to someone. Or even the conversation of the composition could just be so amazing that you just feel ecstatic. And all these feelings can give you this like dopamine high that is what people get who are sexually attracted. But we get this dopamine high from all these other things, and we experience all this attraction for all these other type of things. Do you see what I mean? And I think it's fascinating to talk about this stuff. Even as I'm talking about it, I'm feeling like so like, this is just so passionate. Do you know what I mean? I can feel like aroused even through talking about stuff like this. Maybe invented a asexual dating site. Huh? My only friend maybe invented an asexual dating site. Who invented an asexual dating site? There are asexual dating sites. I'm on two of them. I've been on two of them for a while. But yeah, so that is what I was saying, that sorry Heather, I didn't get your comment. That's why I was a bit confused. Like, invent an asexual dating site. People have invented asexual dating sites. There's two I'm on, and there's also paid for ones that you can go on as well. Well, one of them I'm on asexuality.com and ace-book.net. It's not just people looking for relationships romantic on there. There's people who are aromantic on these dating sites. You don't have to be a romantic to go on these asexual dating sites. There are still aromantic people on there. People looking for platonic relationships or just friendships. Because actually on asexuality.com, I find it hard to get anyone for a serious romantic relationship on there. It's like it's like getting blood out of a stone. Like, a lot of people just want friendships on there, which is fine if you just want friendships. But if you're trying to find an actual partner for romance, and we're all spread apart as it is, it's very frustrating when you can't pick out the people that really are interested in having a relationship in the traditional romantic sense. When you're looking for that, it's like, how do I filter all that out? And actually, on asexuality.com, the filters are not good like they used to be. You can only search by country now, male and female. You can't even do by age and ethnicity and stuff. I'm like, what's going on with it? Do you know what I mean? But I still love being on the site, and I have a friend who messages me regularly on there. So I love and I think I met him through there. Yeah, I met him through there. So, and he's an awesome friend. He watches this channel as well. Andy's his name. He's amazing. Really, really nice guy. Top guy. But yeah, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I hope it's been really useful, helpful, insightful, because I really wanna explore areas of sexuality and asexuality so we can really get to understand this attraction thing. Because I think for so many years in existence, attraction has always gone with sex. Attraction in the realm of the sexualized world that we live in is always, like I said, it's always gone with sex, sexual attraction, sexual desire. Let's get it on. Let's have intercourse. It's always been fundamentally tied to that. And I really think we need to start breaking away from that as a whole society. We need to start really like a revolution, which I think is kind of like what asexuality is in a way, which is good. It's healthy for a society to have some revolution, right? Revolution being we change the way things are done. We shake them up. We add some different things into the equation. I mean, asexuality, as far as I'm concerned, asexuals have always existed. I mean, you don't really get anyone popping out the womb going, hey, I want sex today. Do you know what I mean? So technically speaking, that I think the thinking is very, very the wrong way round. I think people thinking that everyone's born heterosexual or, sexual is actually incorrect. I think it's more like that people were born asexual when they popped out the womb, and then as time goes by, they develop being sexual. To be quite honest, that's kind of like, if you think about it, because no one pops out the womb, like I said, thinking I want sex, do they? It's not something that really happens. I do know that I've been told that kids, though, really early kids, toddlers, masturbate, which I didn't even know that. I found that really odd. But like I said, I didn't know a lot of stuff to do with sexual stuff, because prior to 2014, I didn't really talk about it, but I did know quite a lot of stuff to do with the act of sex from my ex, if you know what I mean, like different positions, and I just let him get on with it. It's kind of like I wasn't detached from it in the sense I could feel everything, but I kind of just let him get on with leading it and doing what he needed to do. And he was very much the leader, even though I worked with him as a team in that way to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Like I would, like sometimes I would go on top and things, which would be more comfortable for me sometimes, and otherwise he would go on top. So you know what I mean? It's kind of like the way I talk about it is more like I don't know. It's more like just information, if you know what I mean. I'm just sharing every educational information, but I mean, I was it's different with him to all the other guys I've been with. The other guys, I mean, one guy just wants to stick it in. I got bored, and that's sex, and it's just gross, you know. There's no love making in there. There's no thinking about the other person. It's just nothing. It's just gross. Do you know what I mean? It's disgusting, and pretty much the rest of the guys I had were like, is that it? Like, what's the point in anyone doing it? I don't get it. But with my ex, like 8.5 years, he was very good at doing a lot of foreplay and the other stuff, and like if you like touching on the body or you like that type of thing, you can get pleasure just from that without the sex. And then obviously the sexual wants to do the sex, even though you probably don't even want that. If you really don't want it, like I don't want it at all now. Like I'm really sex repulsed. So I don't think I'd ever change my mind on that to the point where I don't mind doing that again with someone. I don't, I can't see it happening. I mean, I get, even the thought of it, just makes me cringe. So it's not like I couldn't do it if I wanted to. I don't think I probably could, but I just, my whole body doesn't want to. My whole being, like, inside just feels shaky when I talk about it. It just feels disgusted. Like I don't want that near me anymore. But I like the kissing loads. So that's kind of really difficult for me. But I don't want sex. I hate it. Sorry for me. If anyone's watching this and they don't mind it, that's great. And it's good actually if you're an asexual who doesn't mind it, because you've got more choice. Do you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I think I'm going to leave the video there. I've been talking for a long time. If you've got any questions, comments, leave them in the description below. I will try and answer every comment that gets put down there. I'm sorry if I ever miss any. I've just noticed on my comments, like, for some reason, I had comments on an aromantic video, which were, like, one set of comments was beautiful on there, really, really lovely. And I didn't see it come up in my notification. So for some reason, it doesn't seem like I get every single notification, every single comment. So you can always give me a nudge, especially on the live streams. If I haven't answered a comment in the week or something, and you've got a comment pending or something, just give me a nudge and say, Sandra, you didn't answer this. And I can answer it on live stream. I'm quite happy. I mean, the good thing about live streams is I'll answer anything you want, which is quite rare. I mean, people talk a lot about sex and all that, like, but how many people actually do it live stream and talk about it? They don't really, do they? Because they're too scared they'll cock something up that they say. This is completely unedited. I haven't prepared this, and do you know what I mean? Like, I've gone off on a complete tangent from saying I love this guy's voice, he's like dreamy, to talking about multiple faceted attractions. I don't have any questions. Okay, that's great. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Heather, for tuning in. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like it. It's really, 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 really important that I get as many thumbs up as possible, because the more I get thumbs up, the more I can continue doing these videos, these educational videos. I mean, sometimes, like, I'm live streaming 2 or 3 times a day now. It does take time out of my day, and I don't have to do it. But I'm thinking this could be useful for other asexuals. That's why I quickly get on camera, thinks, just get it out there, put it out there. If someone comes across my video and they're just like, that's a light bulb moment, That's, like Michael, when you said that valuable information, like the way you feel when I sort of feel arousal, the way you feel that sort of anywhere near elatement, is when you are talking about a subject that you enjoy, you're passionate about. And I think that's very, very valid for aromantics, especially when the whole world kind of thinks that aromantics don't experience, the world kind of thinks that aromantics all don't want to be in a relationship, which is not true, because I have aromantics in my groups that do, my dating groups, and also, there's quite a lot of stereotypes. My voice is going, so I'm gonna have to go. But yeah, please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and share it with anyone you think may benefit from it. If you think, wow, this is a light bulb moment, Sandra's talking about these attractions, especially I thought the one was very good and interesting, the one I talked about photography, with the sunset. Bye, Michael. Thanks very much. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. And until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's. Don't forget to tune in to this website, to this channel whenever you can, and hit that bell icon after you subscribe to you instantly get notified of every time I go live like this, so that you guys can just come on here and think, what's she talking about now? Let's get into it. Anyway, till next time, racial, quirky, and each other's. I am signing off. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye. Nice to see you. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Michael. Bye.